welcome back to the NJC Open House. Today is our second segment of the Q&A. I understand that yesterday time is short and you may have more queries about our school programs. So today we have with us, I'm Ms. Yong Sing Hing, the Senior High Year Head, and we have Mr. Teo Ziwei, HOD of Academic Matters at ICT, Ms. Ling Hui Cheng, HOD of Math and Computing, and Ms. Tan Rosie, HOD PE and CCA. So now we see questions coming in, so we will answer them one by one.
Okay, maybe I will answer the first question. Okay, what is the passing rate like for geography and econs? I will say that those who have entered National Junior College and have taken geography and econs, actually I will say almost everyone has passed geography and econs, because at the end of the day, right, the more important thing is, do you put in the effort? Did the student put in the effort to want to learn, to strive for what they want to achieve in their A-level exams? Okay, so yeah, I would say that almost everyone scores geography, passes at geography and econs, and maybe a handful, perhaps still not so settled down yet. Maybe they had, and hence they probably didn't pass. Okay, do you offer hybrid courses like 2 H2 sciences and two science and 2 arts? I'm sorry, we don't. We offer either 3 sciences and 1 contrasting subject, which is arts-based, or 3 arts-based subject and 1 contrasting, which is science subject. Okay, for arts, we typically the contrasting subject would be math at H1. Okay, can a B3 combined science student take 2 H2 science? Well, to check whether you are qualified to read certain subject combinations, maybe allow me to guide you through the website. Okay, so if you could go to the school website. Okay. Now, in this school website here, we have the subject combinations that are offered in National Junior College. Okay, so if you go to the pictures below, okay, just allow me to guide you through very fast. So you'll probably see 4 columns or 3 columns with one horizontal row below. So each of them represents subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4. So let's look at science 2, for instance. Okay, for science 2, subject 1 is either a physics or biology. So the symbols are pretty intuitive. If you see a simple harmonic motion, it will mean a pendulum, it means a physics. If you see a gene, it probably means bio. Okay, so subject 1, you can choose either a physics or a biology. Subject 2 is a math. Subject 3 is chemistry. Subject 4 is any of those subjects at the row, example history, geography, English language and linguistics, music, and so on and so forth. The color code would refer to H2 and H1 as shown on top. Okay, so to determine whether you qualify for the subject, what you need to do is you calculate. Okay, we say, for example, science 7. Okay, what does M1S2 less than equals 5 means? It means, say for example, you wish to read physics, chemistry, math, and econs, physics. So you need to look at your O-level physics plus your O-level chemistry plus your best math score. Make sure when you add up, it is at most 5. Okay, so if you have a combined physics and chemistry, and let's say you score B3, when you add, you just take the score and multiply by 2. So in this case, it will be 6 in total and plus a math. And no matter what, it is never at most 5, and hence you are not qualified to take science 7, but perhaps you may want to consider science 4. Okay, I hope I've answered this question regarding subject Comp B. Okay. Okay.
Okay, we have a question about the proportion of students, IP students compared to JAE. All right, so every year we have typically about 200 students from the IP and around 250 to 300 JAE students joining us to form around 500 students per cohort. Yeah. So,
I will answer the questions for computing. For computing, we only offer 1 subject combinations, which comprise of H2 physics, H2 math, H2 computing, and also either H1 or H2 economics.
Okay, I think there's a question regarding project work. Okay, I will have to answer that. Is it true that NJC rushes PW in 2 weeks after promos, unlike other schools that start from March onwards? The answer is definitely not true. Okay, in fact, we will start project work perhaps 1 week immediately after orientation. Okay, it will last through the promos. Of course, during the promo exam seasons, there is no project work. You focus on your studies. But after your promotional exam, we will place more emphasis on your project work because that is an A-level coursework that needs to be submitted by November. And for those of you who are reading H1 Mother Tongue, you will be handling both H1 project work and H1 Mother Tongue. So of course, after your promo exam, you don't really have a lot of time to rest. Okay, but this is a 2-year curriculum. This is very packed. Okay. Okay. I have another question regarding percentage of students that are IP. Okay, that is about, we will have I will say that 40% of our students are IP students. The remaining 45 to 50% of our students are actually JE students. Okay, yeah.
For the difference between geography and econs, you may want to go on to the log into the website to Google for the H2 geography and H2 economy syllabus to find out more on the content. So you can read out more on the differences in the content as well as the assessment structure.
Okay, maybe I'll answer the question about difficulty in reading literature if taking arts 3. I will suppose that, for arts 3, I will suppose that you are referring to literature in English. Now, in fact, there is no prerequisite to read literature in English from at A levels, so it doesn't imply that you must have you must have read and passed O level literature. Okay, I think in fact, if you have a passion to want to know more about the English language, okay, and you are passionate in probably reading, okay, you may possibly like to consider taking literature. Okay, yeah. So there is no prerequisite to read literature, and it doesn't imply that you are at a significant disadvantage. I think most important is your attitude towards the learning the subject. Okay, there's a question about personalized learning device. Will the school be purchasing it on behalf of students? Okay, now personal learning device is optional in National Junior College. You can purchase it through the MOE tender. But however, do note if you purchase it through the MOE tender, okay, the one that we are offering in National Junior College is the iPad that comes with a keyboard, okay, and the price is fixed. So there is no moderation to the package that is given. Say, for example, can I up the RAM? Can I buy an Apple Pencil? Or can I don't buy the insurance and so on? It is that package, okay, and it's slightly more than $700, okay. So and there's no compulsion to buy because in senior high, some students felt that actually they prefer to use laptop or a Chromebook to learn, okay, because of the possible collaboration, say in some subjects such as project work. Okay, so there's no compulsion to buy the iPad through the MOE assigned vendor. Okay. Okay. So can
Well, I will take the questions on the computing selection test. For computing selection test, you don't have to worry. You just can prepare because really we want to assess the logic rigor as well as the reasoning skills that you have. So there's no need for you to have any prerequisite in programming skills.
Okay, maybe I'll take a question regarding questions regarding L1, R5 having L1, certain L1, L5, but the total score for bio, chem, math is still less than 5. Now, in National Junior College, maybe I'll just put it this way: your L1, L5 will help you determine whether you are qualified to read to be admitted to certain junior colleges as prescribed by Ministry of Education. But for us, once you join us, all we need to know is whether you do have the baseline knowledge for certain subject combinations. Okay, so it's not about the L1, L5 score, but it's about the scores that you had as a basic for the subject that you're going to read at A levels. So, for example, if you're looking at biochem math, yeah, we just need to look at your bio grade, your chemistry grade, and your mathematics grade at O levels. Maybe you perhaps don't do so well in English. That's fine, okay. But at least you must make sure that you have you have the basics for your O level bio, O level chem, and O level math. Yeah, okay.
Hello, I will take one or two questions regarding the subjects such as literature, English language, and linguistics. Yeah, so the first one I will address is this. When you come to National Junior College, you will have to take a ELL selection test if you are interested in taking the subject. There is no pass rate or success rate, because if all of you are suitable, we will take all of you. Yeah. So the point about the fact is that in NJC, and I believe my colleague has also pointed it out before, so long as you are suitable to take a subject, we will let you take that subject. The ELL selection test looks like, imagine a text, right? An English language text. The thing we want to see from you is whether you are able to notice certain language features in a text. That's essentially what a selection test is all about. We're not checking to see whether you are competent or proficient. We are here to see simply whether you have some potential to do the subject, because that's all we really need, some potential, so that, you know, when you embark on this subject, you are able to manage it. Yeah, so come to NJC and then have a look at the test. We welcome anybody to take the test, of course. From there, you can make decisions on whether or not that subject is suitable for you. Yeah, I will now take the next question. Here we go. We have many students who, if you look at the question that's being displayed, we have many students who may not have any background in literature and yet go on to do literature at the A levels. No literature background is required at all for whether arts tree combination or any other combination for that matter requiring the subject of literature. Yeah, what we would expect from you, there's no selection test for literature, but what we do expect from you is you must at least have some interest in reading. Yeah, that's really, really important, of course, because otherwise reading literature text would be very tiresome for you. And you must want to analyze, of course, right, poems and novels and so on. Okay. I see that somebody else has come back to ask me about ELL again, so I'm going to answer that first before I hand you over to another colleague of mine. Oh, sorry, I may have shown the wrong one. Let's try that one. There we go. Yes, of course. The selection test doesn't force you to take a subject. It simply allows you to take a subject. You are still, it's perfectly fine for you to still exercise your decision making in terms of what subject combi you intend to offer. Yeah, so by all means, when you come to NJC, take the selection tests that you need, right? And then from there, consider your viability to take whichever combination you intend to offer. All right. Over to over to Mr. Teo.
Okay. Hi. Hi, I'm here to answer some questions. First is regarding exemption from mother tongue language. The question was about is it true that students can be exempted from mother tongue course? If so, what are the conditions? First of all, you need to make sure that you have you will need a mother tongue grade to enter our local autonomous universities. So there are two ways to go about doing so. Either you you either obtain at least a D7 in your O-level higher mother tongue, okay, or if you have not taken the O-level higher mother tongue, okay, you must therefore take the H1 mother tongue at JC. Okay, are there some exemptions? Possible exemptions, yes, but that is on a case-by-case basis. For example, some medical conditions or some special extenuating circumstance which have to be cleared by the Ministry of Education. Okay, so the school can possibly put up a recommendation, but it still has to be approved by Ministry of Education. Okay. Okay, there's a question about this having some grades. Okay, can we request to take H2 physics while did not take physics at O level? Can we take additionally H1 physics? Okay. So these questions is really about the subject prerequisites. Okay. So to answer this, you will need to have read O-level physics in order to take either H1 physics or H2 physics, because that is stated in our website. So the website, I think I showed all of you earlier. Okay, you have to take H2, or you need to have an O-level background physics. Otherwise, you have difficulty coping with the learning of the physics at either H1 or H2. Okay. Uh, there is a question about all the number of people scoring well, or how many people who offer double H2, how have they been doing in their exams and so on and so forth. My answer to all this is uh, most important, right, is you need to put in the effort. You need to put in the correct learning strategy, okay, to JC education. Okay, you need to know your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so it doesn't imply that there's a very high pass rate in a particular subject, means that the chance that you pass is very high. It also doesn't imply that maybe our distinction rate for a certain subject is very, very high. Therefore, the probability that you pass with a distinction is also very high. Ultimately, it just boils down to your learning attitude, your discipline in each subject, whether you are able to manage your time carefully, okay, and prioritize your activities properly. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I'm just answering in terms of how did our stream do compared to national standards, and yesterday was a question about number of students entering medicine. It's really about the attitude of your the individual students. Okay, I'll answer a question about schools allocating students into their classes. Okay, so primarily it will be based on the subject combinations that we offer. Okay, and this is how we allocate. That's simple. Okay, will there be selection trials for various subjects? All these, whether there are there any qualifying tests for certain subjects, all this again can be found on the website that I've just shown earlier on. Okay, you probably, if you are going to do if you are going to a DC education, I would like to really advise you that it is important that you do your own self reading, because I suppose I would think that this is required in all subjects. You need to do your own reading on your own. And if there are more questions that cannot be found on the websites, yeah, feel free to check your teachers or check with us. Okay. Yeah. If you take certain selection tests and you didn't pass, okay, then you are not eligible for that specific combi with that particular uh, subject that you didn't pass the selection test. Okay. Will I need to, if I'm a DSA student, do I need to use O-level score to determine the courses I'm qualified? Yes. Okay, you'll be treated as any other JAE students. Okay, we'll look at your O-level score to determine, or the subject score performance to determine which subject combination will suit you. Okay. Yeah.
So come back to the ELL question. My apologies, I was muted. I'm going to answer this question. If you do not pass the selection test, whether for ELL or for other subjects that require selection tests, it will mean that you will have to pick another subject combination, of course. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take some questions regarding changing streams. Okay, Now, there was a question whether can the student change a stream from art stream to science stream or science stream to art stream? Okay, changing stream, we will follow strictly to how ministry allocates. So, example, if a student enters National Junior College via the art stream, okay, and wishes to go to the science stream, you take it as there are two different schools, National JC Arts, National JC Science, okay? So if you want to change stream, it's almost the same as changing a school. And hence, you will need to do an appeal. Okay, and the appeal criteria is, if I'm not wrong, okay, it should be the same as previous years. The L1R5 cutoff point must be less than or equals to, based on that year. Okay, so example, the L1R5 example for science stream, let's say is 7, but you enter the art stream 8. Okay, you cannot appeal to a science stream because the L1R5 cutoff point is 7. But let's say you enter National Junior College science stream and your score was 7, and you wish to change stream to the art stream. Okay, you can make an appeal to join the art stream because the L1R5 is 8 cutoff point. But it is an appeal subject to school leaders' approval. Okay. Yeah. Questions regarding requirements to take subject combinations. Is there a fixed combi for certain subjects? Okay. Again, the answers are all found here. So let me repeat again. So if you want to know more about subject combi, how it is offered, okay, you can refer to this website here, okay, whereby we offer all the various subject combinations that's available, okay, and you will be able to see whether if you are interested in music, what are the other subjects that comes along with the subjects, okay, or if you're interested in computing, what are some of the subjects that comes along with it, okay, and we will follow to this subject combination. There will be no modifications to them, okay. Okay, I have passed my Chinese at O levels, so I will be exempted from taking Chinese in JC. Yes. Okay, so how does this affect my A level results? Okay, well, there are basically, to enter the local autonomous universities, you need to pass your mother tongue either at O level, higher mother tongue, or H1 mother tongue. Okay, now to enter the local autonomous university, there are certain formulas in computation, which I probably won't bore you here because it's quite complicated. Okay, but regardless of which JC you are, okay, it in some way will affect your A-level results in some way. But at the end of the day, right, it's a matter of whether you wish to retake based on your particular expectations for that subject or not. And whether do you have the ability to organize yourself, because let's say you had a B4 for your higher mother tongue, and you are perhaps not so contented and you wish to try for A. You need to check with yourself whether are you really that strong in the subject of mother tongue to begin with, and do you think you have the ability, confidence to get an A, example, despite the fact that you are actually reading 4 or 5 other subjects that could be new to you, like general paper, economics, okay, or any other subjects that's H2. They're very different. Okay, so it's all about yourself, whether you are able to manage your time properly, you are able to manage things that are totally new to you. Okay, it's all about yourself and your expectations. Okay, and hence the computation will be maybe shared when you join us or you perhaps join another junior college. Okay, there was a question about JE being disadvantaged in any way compared to IP students. Okay, I'll let Ms. Yong answer.
Right. Regarding the question that will JE students be disadvantaged, definitely no. Okay, all the opportunities are actually equal for all. We will always make announcements to all the students regarding whatever programs that we have, keeping everyone in the loop. Bearing in mind that our JE students are actually the majority of the cohort, so don't be too worried about that. But of course, if the JE students are proactive and do know what they want, feel free to approach the teachers in charge of the different programs, make known to the teachers on what your interests are, and we will help you together with it to talk about the planning, whatever things that you have in mind, and work towards what you want to achieve. Another question on what support systems are there for students who might not be able to cope with their studies. We always encourage the students to be to plan their work as and when our teachers are always available to them when they need help. So whenever they have lectures or tutorials that they find that difficulty to catch up, the teachers are always very willing to give consultation along the way. So and in the event that maybe assessment wise you did not do as well as you expected to be, we have remediation program as well to help the students catch up in their work. So all in all, the teachers are always available for consultation. So do reach out to the teachers if you find that you need any help in your studies. Okay, for another question on DSA. Okay, for DSA students, don't worry, the school will reach out to you. We have all your information. So don't worry about it. The school will actually reach out to you.
Okay, I'll take the questions regarding H2 subjects. If I take 4 H2, am I allowed to drop one H2 to a H1 another time? First and foremost, if you decide to take 4 H2, our school values believe that you need to be resilient and you need to stay true to the decision that you have made. Because if you have taken 4 H2 and you decide to just change a H2 to H1, you might have deprived someone else of the opportunity to read 4 H2, but perhaps due to some other reasons, he or she wasn't able to choose. So we are looking at your resilience in managing. Okay, sorry, that was the bell. So we are looking at the resilience of how you manage your learning. Okay, we do allow students to change from H2 to H1, but that will take place at certain time of the year. It's not any time of the year. Okay, and typically we will consider changing of H2 to H1 if the student has not been performing that well in that specific subject. Okay, but it only takes place at certain time of the year. It is not any own time, own target or any time. Okay, is it easy to score well in project work? Again, I go back to your learning attitude, your learning disciplines in the various subjects. Okay, there's no such thing as easy to score in any subjects. Okay, in any A-level subject, it's really about your learning attitude. Okay, yeah. Perhaps I will hand over this to the HOD CCA. We'll probably talk about CCA matters, about what time it ends and how often are CCAs in a week.
Okay, there's a question on how are lectures like. Okay, in terms of before this pandemic, okay, lectures are in the lecture hall. So the lecturers will actually engage the students in terms of lecture content. Then after that, followed by tutorial. But because in these 2 years, we have to abide by the SMM, so lectures are actually in smaller groups. And some of the subjects actually do have recorded lectures for students to actually go through the content during lecture slot. And after which, of course, the students can actually reread or re-look at the different videos that's been created by the teachers. And with that, attempt their tutorials. So this is actually what it has been for these past 2 years.
I can generally answer this question first. Yes, some subjects will require you to take tests. No, we do not need to take tests to choose your subject combi. Your subject combi is always freely available according to the possible combinations that NJC already offers, as illustrated in our website. Right, so the combis are standard to whatever we're offering. The combis do not need tests, right? But some subjects will require you to do some tests. Yeah, I will take the next question. This is a reasonably important one for anybody who's thinking about offering KI. KI is knowledge and inquiry, right? KI is offered at an H2 level, yeah, whereas GP is offered at an H1 level. As you know, GP is a subject that every student has to offer in all junior colleges, yeah, unless you offer KI. So if you're trying to decide between the two, whether in NJC or if you'd like some advice in general, the difference is, I'll crystallize the difference in maybe one or two key areas. One key area is, of course, that GP is all about your general knowledge and your current affairs. You do need to know what is happening around the world today. You need to understand the bigger social, political, cultural issues that govern our society, issues to do with the environment, issues to do with our use of technology, issues to do with how politics are governed, why media is important. These are all GP topics. Yeah. In contrast, KI is philosophy related. Yeah. It is a branch of philosophy called epistemology or theory of knowledge. What that means is in KI, you study how you know something. So as you can tell, just from that short explanation, the two cover vastly different things. Yeah. So once again, if you're interested in the difference between the two, come to NJ. We will have, of course, introductory lectures so that you can understand how these two subjects are different. I'll take the next question. What are the revision materials for H2 literature? Instead of thinking what the materials are, I will at least describe the fact that where at the appropriate junctures, revision will be conducted, of course, right? In other words, initial learning of literary skills, how to analyze a text, what devices you need to know, literary devices, assignments that you need to do. All these are considered part and parcel of your learning, correct? In addition, you'll be trying to study your text, of course, know the material well, and when appropriate, revision will be conducted, of course. And this revision will take a number of forms. One, do we have a repository of material that you can refer to? Yes. Do we have past year questions that we practice? Yes. Do you have consultations and other coaching sessions with your literature teachers? Also, yes. So in essence, revision isn't just about, do you have some notes to read? Revision is not just for literature. I can confidently say for all the subjects in National Junior College, revision is a holistic process, beginning with understanding what kind of revision you need in the first place, right? Before we then say, why don't you come for extra class, for example, or go write extra essays, or, read these notes that will do for now. Yeah, so revision is made in consideration of your learning and which stage you're at. Okay, let me hand the time over to, I think my colleague will be able to now speak on CCAs, right?
Hello. Okay, sorry that I had some difficulties with my microphone earlier on. Okay, yes, we have a couple of questions about CCA. Anyway, just to introduce myself, my name is Ms. Tan Josie. I am the HOD for PE and CCA here at National Junior College. All right, so we have a first question for oranges. Yes, what time do CCAs usually end? It will end. Okay, so let me talk about what time they start first. Okay, so you will have a better understanding why they end at that time. So in SH1 or Senior High 1, you all will know it as JC1, lectures or lessons will usually end around 4:30. Okay, that's the latest that they will end. Sometimes if you have consolidations or remediations, it may end a little later. For the SH2s or the JC2s, they usually end earlier, around 3:30. So these, because these are the timings that the lessons end. So in general, you start CCA sessions around 4 p.m. or sometimes even 4:30. CCA sessions are usually 2 hours. So if you calculate, it will actually end around 6:30. Usually, a majority of the CCAs end around 7. The next question is by Elena. How often are CCAs in a week? Depending which CCA you are in. Some CCAs have a little more sessions based on their programs. So on average, CCAs are conducted twice a week, about 2 hours each session. Of course, when it's nearing to the national schools as well as the SYF season, they will increase in frequency as well as intensity. Okay, I think there's another question by Lillian. Is it mandatory to join a CCA? Yes, it is. So we had this. This is a common question that I always have every open house. Yes, CCA is mandatory. We highly encourage everyone to have a school-based CCA. This is for your holistic development. I think the first half an hour, everyone was talking about academics as well as the subject combinations. So that's not what we hope that you come in to do only in NJC, or in fact any JC that you go to. You should hopefully also pursue a passion and commit to an interest outside your classrooms. So we hope that you don't just study, but also have other commitments. So, of course, if you have any external commitments, we can have a chat and see how we can support you. So definitely, we do highly encourage everyone to take a CCA. If you would like to know more about our CCA programs and just to share a bit more, you can take a look at our website, nationaljc.moe.edu.sg. You go under the Experience tab. The very first link, you will see that it is co-curricular activities. Click on that and you will see our CCAs. We have 34 CCAs here at National Junior College catered to our senior high students. We have about 14 sports, 9 performing arts, of which we have the 4 different dances, as well as 9 clubs and societies. So please do a look and you can click on each logo and you can go in to see more about each CCA. We have a student council. We don't regard it as a CCA, but more like a leadership body, and that's one area you could pursue as well.
Okay, I shall answer a question on how are the common last topic gaps going to be closed in JC, and will there be some classes to fill up, or are students required to bridge the gap ourselves? Don't worry, we are very in sync with what the students have went through in O-levels. In the scheme of work that all the teachers have in the various departments, we do take into account that the common last topic has not been taught in O-levels, and then we will start off bridging the gap for everyone. So there is no disadvantage to any O-level students. Another question on will school days end later on a late day? All right, it very much depends on the timetable and the subject combination that we have. So different classes end on a different time. It may or may not end later on a late day.
At this point in time, there are no other questions like appearing in our feed. So if you still have a few more questions, please feel free to type them in, right? Otherwise, we will be preparing for our next segment. So we will still hang around for a couple of more minutes to see if there are any more remaining questions from those of you who have joined us in this live stream. Right? If not, we will be resuming soon. We will resume at 3 p.m. because we want to introduce to you the key niche programs we have in NJC. So last call for any last questions that you might have pertaining to admissions, pertaining to subject combinations, GCAs, of course, or general school life. Yeah. Okay. Well, somebody's just joined us. Ms. Yong, would you like to take that one as well? And then followed by Mr. Teo.
Okay, regarding the start time for the students itself, okay, on odd days we start at 7:40. On the even days, which Tuesday, Thursday, is 8:40. Depending on timetable, a few students or few classes, particularly the students taking H1, will start earlier on Tuesday at 7:40. So it depends on subject combination. If not, by and large, it will be odd days 7:40, even days 8:40. Tuesday will be subjected to whether or not do you take a H1 subject.
Hi, I'm here to answer the questions regarding H1 Chinese. Well, what happens if you didn't pass the exams in year one? As a mother tongue is a compulsory subject that is to be considered for local autonomous universities, you have to obtain, you have to pass. Okay, and if you didn't pass, you have to retake again in year two. Okay, and that doesn't imply that it will be easier, because in year two the learning pace will be accelerated, because I think most teachers will want to end the syllabus quickly to revise for the actual A-level exams. Okay, so you have to do your best to pass the H1 mother tongue in year one as fast as possible. Okay, I'll take the questions about selection test. When is it taking place? Okay, again, this question, to answer this question, it actually can be found on the website of subject combination. If you scroll right to the bottom, okay, tentatively we are holding it on the 7th of February afternoon, assuming that that is the first day of which you are reporting to National Junior College. Once you know once the JEE um, uh, results are released to all of you. Okay, yeah. How many places are there in National Junior College for learning? Actually, we have quite a number of places in National Junior College for learning. Example, we have the library. Okay, in fact, some of the students will actually study in their classrooms after school because it's pretty quite well ventilated. The canteen is also very well ventilated. Okay, it's very windy generally, so these are places whereby they're generally a little bit quiet and you can study there. Okay. Sorry, maybe I'll take the last question. How about boarding school? Is boarding experience, is it compulsory? Uh, Currently, because of SMM measures, you will probably not have the opportunity to stay in the boarding school, but we will have this program called the SM Plus program, whereby the GC1 students will have the opportunity to bond with their classmates, okay, where after school, all of you will be probably staying back, okay, and there will be some enrichment activities for you all that will be conducted in school in a safe manner, whereby we all abide by this safe distancing measures. Hopefully, I'm not sure. Hopefully, if Ministry of Health uh, says that it's possible for us to consider boarding, or MOE says we consider boarding, yeah, we would like to open up so that you have a great opportunity to bond there. Okay, yeah. Perhaps I'll hand over this to Ms. Tan, who will talk about some CCA matters.
Hello again. Yes, we have another two, I think one question for about CCA as well as for PE, which I'll answer later on. Do CCAs accept inexperienced students as well, or two? So for our CCAs, having experience in that area or in the CCA is not a prerequisite. So we do take in inexperienced students as well. But of course, if you have any prior experience, it will be a bonus. So do keep in mind that we have our DSA students which are coming in as well. Okay, so in general, our CCAs do accept inexperienced students, or if you have no experience in that area. But also, you have to keep in mind that we may have limited slots as well. Our next question by Elena. Will there be NAPFA test or any 2.4K runs? Okay, for this, we will align ourselves with MOE instructions. So as with last year, there were no NAPFA tests done, but there will be 2.4K runs, because when you come in February, if you do come in to NJC, we will have our what we call road run, or some people call it, some schools call it the cross country. And yeah, we will do strength and conditioning exercises as well as cardio session. We will have cardio sessions to ensure that everyone is in a fit and healthy state in order to complete the run. If for the boys, if there are any like NS going boys, IPPT will be done. If it's the same as last year, it will be done in school. So we will do the 3 tests. So NAPFA test is basically your 6 stations. IPPT is your 3 stations. So we will do that, of course, ensuring that the SMM is in place as well. Let me just check. The next question, does NJC have any school facilities that students can use for recreational purposes? So I think we would call that an unstructured play. So starting next week, in fact, our students do know that they can start to use the sports complex for unstructured play. I guess that's what you can call as recreational purposes, but of course within the COVID-19 SMN guidelines. So for us, we are aligned to what MOE tells us. They will be in groups of 5. You have to be in the same class, and for MOE you have to wear your mask. So the such play cannot be strenuous. But when you come in, it'll probably be a whole other new set of SMM as well. So yes, to answer your questions, we do have facilities, and if it's not being used for PE or CCA, you are free to use that area. We have a huge sports complex, we have a grandstand, we have a field, we have 3 tennis courts, one of them which is covered, we have a weights room, we have a gymnasium, we have an indoor sports hall, we have a netball court, a small hockey D, we have outdoor basketball court. How often are PE lessons? They are twice a week, 1 hour each time. Same for Senior High 1 or JC 1, as well as JC 2. Okay, I think that's all from me, the questions that I have.
I will answer this question and also answer one last question before we call this session to a close. How many books do you have to do for H2 literature? I'll give you 2 pieces of information. One, we do 2 papers. Paper 1 is compulsory for all H2 students, whether in NG or not. And then we do a second paper that is called The Mind and Self. Altogether, there will be 5 texts to read. It of course varies according to different colleges, but in our 5 texts in NJ, we cover poetry and a play, or at least 2 plays, and also 2 novels. So that's what we'll need to prepare. Our last question today is this one. I'm going to leave this question to be answered in our next segment. So I'm going to take a moment to just signal what the next segment will be. The next segment will be a niche programs presentation. What that means is that you will have an opportunity to find out more about the niche programs that NJC runs. That includes the art elective program, that includes our core research programs, our music program. We have elective programs such as the Malay language elective, as well as the Tamil language elective programs. So there are a number of programs. Hang around, you will be able to catch and also, of course, ask questions regarding these specific elective programs. So for that, stick around. We will begin at 3 o'clock with a certain sequence. Okay, we'll wrap up. I think I'll leave it to our dear yearhead to perhaps say 1 or 2 closing words.
Thank you everyone for being here for this segment of the e-open house. We hope that it has been fruitful for all of you. We look forward to having you together with us as our new NJC students in a few weeks' time. So if you have more questions regarding the niche program, as what Mr. Teo has said, do stay on and come. Our teachers will be here to share with you more about the niche program, elective program at 3 p.m. So that's all for us today. Thank you and see you.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to this segment on the niche programs in NJC. Within the next hour, we'll be sharing with you various niche programs and its information over here. To start off with, I'll be sharing on the music program here at the NJC. Right. Let's watch this video on the program, and in it you'll be able to see the various activities and the experiences that you will go through here. Right. So what you have just watched, you've seen the smorgasbord of experiences that we aim to bring to you. So for our prospective music students, you come in as musicians, and what you are here for is for us to guide you in your journey to become all-rounded musicians. So apart from the academic focus that we have various workshops and enrichment programs, as you see on the screen right now, that we conduct for our students. These various workshops target different areas in your musical studies. For example, in recording techniques, we deal with electronic music related topics over there. In world music, like what you have seen in the video, we explore areas in which it's closer to our region. And in conducting and rehearsal techniques, these workshops help to make you more effective and efficient musicians at the same time. Other important experiences are the Zeit Music, our annual external concert at the Esplanade, various concert attendances in which we will be heading out to venues like the Esplanade or Victoria Concert Hall. And of course, the major highlight is the overseas trip, of which that will definitely be subject to the prevailing situation. Last but not least, we invite various music practitioners from the scene to come into college to give career talks to you so that you are able to assess what further studies and further education opportunities may be suitable for you. To give you some, to answer a question that came in yesterday, there was a query with regards to the selection test for the H2 music program. All right, so there will be various components in the selection test, of which is a listening and writing test. We will listen as well to your practical performance and a take-home composition task. At this point of time, if you do have any questions, all right, please, you may pop them in the chat. If not, you may access this website by scanning the QR code or going to the short link over there to view our music program website. You'll be able to find more details there. Feel free to always pop in any email to one of the music teachers' email that you find on the website to send in your queries. And now I'll pass the time over to our research colleague, Mr. Arthur Goh. Mr. Arthur Goh.
Okay, hi everyone. So, okay. Right. Okay, hi everyone. So, for the next 10 minutes, I will share with you a broad stroke of what we do in research at NJC. So, in NJC, we have a special research program where in here, we have a unique program in research, right? We have actually a vast majority of programs that you can cater to your different needs as well. So for here, as a community, we design meaningful innovation for the community as well here in NJC. So when we work together to reach a certain goal here. So over here, you can see that for research at NJC here, our project here, focuses mainly on enhancing food security as well as to develop the livable sustainable city for the nation as well. So over here, what's important is that some people will be asking, so if I come to NJC, what are some of the research opportunities that I can get? So over here, we look at two areas. Some of you here are thinking of exploring what science is like or what humanities research is like. So if you're looking at research over here at NJC, we don't just cater to the science research, but also to humanities and social sciences as well. To explore them, you could actually join us for some of the attachment program and internships together with to study more about defense science, or even work with our agencies to learn more about food security, for example. And you could also work with budding scientists from Japan as well as Thailand in the international research exchange program. So in the photo, as you can see here, some of you who are here yesterday for the talk, you might have seen Jodie as well. Jodie is one of our research students who has been sharing with you more about research yesterday. And she is also one of the students who together with us for the Japan exchange as well. For some of you, you are very keen in wanting to develop yourself in the area of research and becoming a researcher one day. So what can you do here in NJC? We have E-Star Research Project as well as H3 Research to hone your skills and to develop you into researchers. And you will work with all these researchers, right? Eminent researchers and renowned researchers from the various institutes, and have a school experience, right, together with them, right there, and to feel how does it feel like to really just to do research, just like any undergraduate student in a university as well. We have quite a vast majority. We can get the chance to work with agencies such as the universities, the research institute, also together with other schools and the state boards as well, to experience the working in these areas as well. And so over here in NJC, you want to find out more, we welcome you to go to our website, and under the in our school website, you'll find the research website there, and then you can actually find out more about our programs in detail. And if you have any questions, we have actually teachers around to answer your query. After you can just drop us an email, and we'll be willing to give you more information. If you have more questions, you can drop in the note, and I can provide you some of the clarification as well. Okay, if there is no further question, if there's no further question, I'll hand the time over to my colleague, Mr. Ernest Yeo, to share with you more about the AEP program. Mr. Yeo, please.
Everyone, all right, let me bring my screen up. Give me a second. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen now. Okay, yeah, today I'll be sharing with you on the art elective program. Okay, now if you're wondering what is it about beyond the word art, right? Okay, it is a program started by MOE way back in 1984, and it was established in NJC in 1985. Right, it is meant for students, right, who are passionate, right, to explore art, and we are one of the 3 JCs that offer AEP as a formal curriculum. Okay, in AP at NJC, right? Okay, we are looking at developing you, right, to become the creative of tomorrow. Who dares to dream, right? Who care to dream and dare to make, right? So it's not just about having ideas, but the ability, right, to make your idea into reality. Okay, talking about the creating, right? I'm going to give you a broad overview of our curriculum, right? In terms of art, right? Okay, a lot of students tend to think that it's all about making, all right, but there's also the thinking part, which requires, all right, importance, all right, if not that there will be no intention in the idea of your work. All right, in terms of syllabus, right, okay, we are talking about H2 art in particular, all right, whereby 60% is emphasis on innovation, which is the practical approach, right, and then 40% is on visual culture. All right, H3 is, if any one of you have a question regarding H3, is only taken in SH2 when it's offered, all right. Now, in terms of our syllabus at NJC, right, just now I mentioned 60% on practical innovation. Right. So here you're going through a very thematic approach whereby you'll be set tasks, all right, which is authentic. We'll try to make the task as close to real world setting as possible, right? And basically allow you, right, to acquire key skills. For SH2, right, it's 60% on coursework and 40% on visual culture, otherwise known as SOVA, Study of Visual Arts. Now, this is a year whereby you'll be taking it as a A-level subject. Right now, if you are curious about what the A-level paper 2 is about in terms of coursework, right? It is a student practice. You can scan this QR code, which will direct you to SEAB, all right, to have a better idea of the paper, all right? Okay, when we talk about visual culture, all right, study of visual arts, when I mentioned thinking earlier on, all right, we don't emphasize on thinking, on making, all right, but when it comes to how to come up with ideas, all right, what is the historical background, all right, of art, all right, in terms of certain artists. You will go through syllabus artists, but of course you'll be exposed to artists beyond the syllabus as well, all right, in terms of the historical context into certain art movement. When it comes to practical innovation, right, we're talking about allowing you the ability, all right, to manipulate material, experiment, all right. We are very open with students wanting to try new things, and all this in the intent for you all to innovate. Another key aspect of our program, all right, is we'll invite the industry practitioner, all right, to conduct sharing in the form of talks in terms of a workshop, all right, for you all to have a hands-on idea of what entails in the creative industry. Okay, here you see example of master classes being conducted. So it goes beyond some of the art practice, right, that maybe some of you might have been exposed, right, in your secondary school. Okay, so besides inviting the practitioner to come, we do, all right, go to artist studio as well at times. Right, in order to support, all right, this innovation, right, okay, we are equipped, all right, with various equipment, all right, beyond the usual suspect like paint material and all. Right, here art making involve material that some of you may traditionally not associate with art making. So here we have 3D printers, all right, we have workshops, sewing machines, or various tools, all right, for you all to be exposed to. Now, all this equipment, all right, is located at our art block, which is a 3-level building, all right, which this is a basic idea of what you'll be exposed to in terms of the equipment that we have, all right. In terms of learning space, right, we are looking at a very creative and collaborative learning atmosphere. So here you not only make art as an individual, but when I mention real world setting, right, you learn how to collaborate, right, with other individuals, your peers, right, in terms of generating ideas or solution, right, to a problem based on a project brief. Beyond that, right, okay, we also focus on branding and marketing, all right, of you, all right, as a possible artist, all right, or a designer. Basically, we're putting you in a real world setting of what do designers actually go through, all right? How do you publicize yourself, all right, expose yourself, allowing the world to know, all right, what is it about you as an artist, right? So it can be in the form of digital, or using platform like Instagram, right? Or we could be going outdoors, all right, in terms of attending event, all right, getting real life response from the public in regards to your work. We also go through a fair bit of feedback and critique session. Now, I'm sure one of the things that you might be very curious about is, okay, yes, going through all this, I'm going to eventually take A-level arts, all right. We do end the journey, all right, with graduation show, right. These are some snippets of our recent year graduation show. If you are curious to find out more, all right, you can scan the QR code, all right, for the graduation show of 2019 class, or even the 2020 class as well. All right, now I believe that some of you might have questions. All right, in terms of selection test, right? Okay, what does the selection test entails? All right, firstly, you probably need to register interest with us at a later stage, all right? And the selection test involve you'll be provided with a stimulus whereby your response, or either in a 2D setting or a 3D setting. We'll be providing all the materials. There'll be a fair bit of writing, all right? I believe earlier on there were some questions regarding portfolio. All right, it is not compulsory to have a portfolio, but if you do have a portfolio and want to prepare a portfolio, all right, there's no limit in terms of what you want to show. Basically, all right, we want to know you, right, as an artist. What is it that you are interested in? All right, that would also help us during the interview process, which will take place alongside during the selection test. Okay, if there is questions that I may not have answered, all right, or you have more questions, there are a few areas, all right, for you to find out more. All right, you can either email us directly through this email address, or if you want to know AAP as a whole, as a program, all right, you can go to the MOE website, you can go to our college website, all right, and you can also all right, just follow our Instagram to get a sneak peek about what our students have been involved with in terms of our program. Okay, I'm going to take a pause now, all right, because I believe there are some questions that came in. All right, I'm going to give the time now to Mr. Goh.
Okay, so the question was that what are some of the research programs available at NJC? So in NJC, we have 2 tiers of project that we're looking at. So some of you are really looking to explore what are the kind of avenue, what is research in the first place. So you may not have any experience with research, but you will just want to find out more about research in the area of STEM, in the area of technology, engineering, or even humanities, social sciences. We do have programs such as E-Star project for you to just try out. Okay, have a good try out to experience for yourself what is it like to be a researcher. And we also have workshops for you to explore more in areas such as defense science. So for defense science, it has been something that's quite new. And so in here in NJC, we do have such a kind of program for you to take a look at what actually entails in defense science, for example, or even in the agricultural field. What are some challenges they actually face? You could actually have a chance to do that. And some of you actually wanted to become researchers. You already might set your mind that I'm going to be a researcher, I want to be a scientist, and you have a very clear idea that I want to do this. Where can I do this? Over here, we have the history research project, whereby you can actually work with A-Star or even NUS, the professors there and the PIs there, to develop real world kind of research, right? Together with them, the experience as well. What is it like working in such research industry? So this could actually help you to think about what are some of the future pathway you could actually take when you further into the university as well. So these are the key areas of research that you could work with. And the last one is actually the International Research Exchange Program, whereby you will work with budding scientists in another school, for example, in Thailand and Japan, to explore more about various areas. So one area that you could actually explore is about, for example, we'll talk about food science, right? So in Thailand, actually they did do quite a lot of research work with us on the area of food science, and also we have research exchange program that they collaborate on humanities research as well. So these are areas that you can look forward to when you join NJC, and so in the research department as well. Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Goh. I think I'll take some time to talk to all of you about the Humanities Integrated Program. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Miss Carmen Ng, and in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Humanities Integrated Program that we have in NJC. Okay, so what is the Humanities Integrated Program? So what we call the HIP for short is essentially a 15-month program that we have designed to stretch selected art streams students in both the academic and non-academic areas. So this program is targeted at students who are passionate about the humanities, and we run a a variety of programs, okay, in order to stretch the students and help them excel better in the field of humanities. Okay, so the aims of the HIP is to groom inspirational thought leaders in the humanities who are also proactive in serving the community. So there are multiple opportunities for you if you decide to join the HIP. So we start with an interdisciplinary curriculum, which is designed in-house by our own colleagues from various humanities subjects, okay, with humanities research elements. On top of that, you are also given the opportunity to participate in presentations at external conferences. Okay, so you can participate in them as well as present at these external conferences, workshops, and competitions. There are also leadership development opportunities for you, as well as knowledge-based service projects. Okay, so some of the activities that our HIP students have taken part in over the past few years are as follows. Okay, in 2019, we sent our students to the Singapore Bicentennial. Okay, just last year, our HIP students also participated in a local-based enrichment program where they explored heritage and culture in Singapore. Okay, every year there's also the MOE HSP Symposium. So that's a picture at the side of our 2020 batch of students who participated in that symposium. We also have sent our students to Future Thinking Challenges. So that's our most recent batch of students doing the FTC. Okay, in-house, we also have current affairs reading circles. So our students are given the opportunity to lead our other students in discussions on current affairs. And of course, in pre-COVID years, we have had sent our students to the OEP, Overseas Enrichment Program. So in 2018, they went to Taiwan and they did a research on recycling. Okay, so various opportunities for you to develop yourselves in the humanities if you join us at the HIP. So I know it sounds like a lot of programs. So when do you take time to do these activities? The good news for you is, of course, that HIP sessions are timetabled. So we actually have a protected 2 hours on our timetable for us to run all these different activities and to participate in our curriculum. So this takes place once a fortnight on Thursday afternoons from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Okay, so some of you must be thinking, this sounds like the Humanities Scholarship and Program that MOE offers. What is the difference between these two? So of course, for our internal HIP, we also include our MOE HSP recipients. Okay, and on top of that, we also have NJC appointed HIP scholars. So we have two different groups of students doing this program together. Okay, so how can you join this program? Okay, so of course, if you are applying for the MOE HSP, you will automatically be part of the NJC HIP. But I also understand that for some of us, we might not qualify for the MOE HSP, or you might have applied for it, or you might apply for it later on, and you might not get it. But if you're still passionate about the humanities, you are still able to apply to be part of the HIP and join us in this extension program. Okay, so if you're wondering how do you apply for the MOE HSP, you can apply for that once you've secured a place at an MOE HSP center. So of course, NJC is one of them. Okay, so if you join us at NJ, you can apply for this program. And the applications for JE students will open in February. Okay, so after you've joined us, do keep a lookout for the announcement. Okay, and of course, the details of the MOE HSP can be found on the MOE website. Okay, so I'm going to stay here for a couple more seconds, just in case you need to take down the link for this website. Okay, so prerequisites for the MOE HSP and the NJC HIP. So if you're applying for the MOE HSP, they only offer the scholarship to Singapore citizens, okay, which is what I meant earlier when I said that some of us might not actually qualify for HSP, but you might still want to be part of the Humanities Integrated Program. Okay, other prerequisites include having to take H2 English Literature as a subject in an arts course in NJC. So you have to be part of the arts stream and you have to offer H2 Lit as one of your subjects. Okay, and on top of that, you cannot be concurrently holding any other MOE scholarships. Okay, so if you want more information, please follow us at National Humans on Instagram. Okay, or if you have more questions, you can key it into the comment section. Okay, or you can drop an email to our HSP coordinator, Ms. Ho Hui Lin. Okay, her email is on the slide. Okay, I'm seeing question. Okay, so I am interpreting this question as whether you are limited to only one program, as in whether you're only limited to holding one MOE scholarship. If that's your question, then the answer is yes. Okay, if you're planning to apply for the MOE pre-U scholarship, then you will not be able to receive the MOE HSP and vice versa. Okay, if you are wondering whether you can be MOE HSP and NJC HIP, we run the two programs concurrently. So if you are MOE HSP, you will be part of NJC HIP anyway. Okay. Okay. Well, we have time for more questions if you have any. Okay, if not, we'll pass the time over to our MLEP colleague. Right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Carmen. I hope my audio is audible enough. Okay, I'm Miss Iriana. I'll be speaking in Malay language on behalf of Malay Language Elective Program. Salam sejahtera semua. Saya Cikgu Iriana dan saya merupakan guru penyelaras bagi program elektif Bahasa Melayu di Maktab Rendah Kebangsaan, atau saya akan lebih mudahnya saya akan menyebut NJC ya untuk sesi kali ini. Baiklah. Berikan saya sedikit masa untuk mengongsi slide-slide yang telah saya siapkan. Jadi seperti yang telah saya nyatakan, MLEP ataupun program elektif Bahasa Melayu memang sudah bermula di NJC sejak tahun 2020 lagi ya. Dan maaf ya, ada sedikit kegenjutan dari segi alignment. Jadi ini merupakan titik permulaan kami. Pada tahun 2019, NJC telah dilantik oleh pihak MOE untuk menjadi pusat MLEP terbaharu di Singapura bersama-sama dengan institusi Raffles. Jadi pada setakat ini di Singapura sudah ada lima pusat MLEP ya. Dan kemudian pada tahun yang berikutnya, iaitu pada tahun 2020, kami telah menerima kedatangan kohort pelajar-pelajar MLEP yang pertama di NJC, iaitu seramai 10 orang. Kemudian pada tahun lalu, iaitu pada tahun 2021, bilik MLEP ataupun yang kami namakan Sanggar Cendekia telah dibuka secara rasmi oleh Pengetua Mr. Ang. Okay, kita beralih ke slide yang seterusnya. Jadi apa yang anda saksikan di sini merupakan logo rasmi MLEP di NJC dan ianya telah direka oleh pelajar kami sendiri, iaitu pelajar dari kohort pertama kami, Arifah Zaidi, yang juga merupakan seorang pemegang beasiswa MLEP MOE. Dan logo ini seperti yang dinyatakan di slide tersebut telah direka pada tahun 2020, iaitu tahun pertama MLEP bermula di NJC. Jadi apa yang saya ingin ketengahkan di sini ialah apa yang kami titik beratkan di NJC merupakan pemupukan nilai-nilai kepimpinan dan nilai-nilai, maaf ya, ada sedikit gangguan, nilai-nilai kepimpinan dalam diri para pelajar kami. Dan itu juga merupakan visi Maktab Rendah Kebangsaan sendiri. Dan saya akan sebut istilah ini lebih kerap lagi. Para pelajar MLEP NJC digelar sebagai cendekia ataupun menurut definisinya intelijensia. Jadi sejak awal kemasukan para pelajar MLEP ke NJC pada tahun 2020, mereka telah diberikan gelaran cendekia Dan gelaran ini merupakan amanat kepada para cendekia kami bahawa mereka menggalas tanggungjawab sebagai para intelijensia masa hadapan yang akan terus memartabatkan bahasa, sastra dan budaya Melayu ke tahap yang lebih tinggi dan sekaligus menjadikannya kekal relevan. Jadi para pelajar kami memang sudah terbiasa dengan panggilan cendekia itu. Seterusnya, kalau tadi kita sudah lihat slogan rasmi MLEP NJC, ini pula kalau tadi kita telah melihat logo, ini pula merupakan slogan rasmi MLEP NJC, iaitu pejuang bahasa, pencinta sastra dan juga pembela budaya. Kami sememangnya visi kami di NJC ini adalah untuk melihat para pelajar kami menjadi pejuang bahasa, golongan yang mencinta sastra dan mereka yang berani membela budaya Melayu sendiri. Dan slogan ini juga menjadi pegangan dan peringatan kepada para cendekia kami akan tanggungjawab mereka sebagai duta bahasa, sastra dan juga budaya Melayu. Jadi, apakah kriteria kelayakan MLEP untuk mengambil ataupun menyertai program ini di peperiksaan peringkat O, anda harus mendapat sekurang-kurangnya B3 dalam bahasa Melayu lanjutan ataupun B4 untuk bahasa Melayu lanjutan dan B3 untuk kesusastraan bahasa Melayu, sama ada yang penuh ataupun peringkat elektif, dan ataupun sekiranya anda tidak mengambil bahasa Melayu lanjutan langsung pada peringkat sekolah menengah, jangan gusar, jangan bimbang. Anda boleh juga ataupun anda layak juga menyertai program MLEP sekiranya anda mendapat sekurang-kurangnya grade A2 dalam bahasa Melayu. Dan mari kita berkenalan sedikit tentang ketua pelajar MLEP di NJC. Seperti yang telah saya nyatakan lebih awal tadi, di NJC ini kami amat menitik beratkan pemupukan nilai-nilai kepimpinan dalam diri para pelajar kami. Dan ini dia Raditya Sekendatama. Beliau merupakan pelajar tahun kedua ataupun di sini dikenali sebagai Senior High 2, dan beliau telah menggalas tanggungjawab sebagai ketua pelajar MLEP kohort yang kedua. Beliau merupakan mantan pelajar Sekolah Menengah Tanjung Katong. Ya. Seterusnya, ini pula Kristina Atira Muhammad Isa. Beliau merupakan ketua pelajar kohort pertama yang kini sedang menunggu keputusan peperiksaan peringkat A. Atas sumbangannya yang tidak ternilai untuk MLEP di NJC, beliau telah dianugerahkan gelaran valedictorian keseluruhan ataupun overall valedictorian oleh pihak Kementerian Pendidikan bagi kohort 2020-2021. Dan sememangnya anugerah ini amat sangat bermakna bagi NJC kerana walaupun MLEP baru berusia setahun jagung di NJC, kami sememangnya telah berupaya melahirkan seorang pemimpin pelajar yang diiktiraf kewibawaannya. Seterusnya, saya ingin menyentuh sedikit tentang program-program tukikan ataupun niche programs yang kami sediakan di MLEP di NJC. Yang pertama, saya ingin menyentuh tentang program tukikan kami iaitu Muzik Melayu. Di sini, di slide ini, anda dapat melihat para cendekia kami sedang menjalani bengkel penulisan lirik lagu bersama Encik Muhammad Khair Muhammad Yassin, seorang penyair dan penulis lirik yang tidak asing lagi di Singapura. Dan pada sesi-sesi tersebut, para cendekia kami telah berpeluang menimba ilmu dari segi penulisan lirik lagu bersama Encik Muhammad Hir, dan mereka juga telah dapat menikmati jamming session bersama-sama dengan Encik Muhammad Hir yang telah memetik gitar ya pada waktu itu. Dan di akhir sesi tersebut setiap seorang daripada para cendekia kami telah berjaya mencipta lagu original mereka sendiri, lagu asli tulisan ataupun hasil karya mereka. Kemudian saya ingin beralih pula kepada program tukikan MLP NJC yang kedua. Seperti yang dipaparkan di slide ini, penterjemahan merupakan program tukikan MLP yang kedua selain daripada muzik Melayu, dan para cendekia kami, maaf ya, para cendekia kami terlibat secara langsung dalam perancangan, pembinaan soalan-soalan serta pengendalian peraduan tahunan 3T, iaitu peraduan penterjemahan antara sekolah-sekolah menengah di Singapura. Dan selaku penganjur di peringkat nasional, pihak NJC iaitu para cendekia kami telah bekerjasama dengan Jawatan Kuasa Penterjemahan Nasional NTC. Maaf ya. Okay. Telah bekerjasama dengan NTC dan juga Kementerian Perhubungan dan Penerangan MCI, dan melalui penganjuran peraduan ini mereka telah dapat menimba banyak pengalaman dari segi mengendalikan para peserta, membina bahan-bahan peraduan iaitu soalan-soalan dan sebagainya. Jadi ini merupakan pengalaman yang amat berharga bagi mereka. Seterusnya, ini merupakan beberapa aktiviti-aktiviti yang telah dijalani oleh para cendekia kami di NJC. Jadi anda dapat lihat di sini gambar-gambar di mana para cendekia kami telah menjalani sesi-sesi mendeklamasikan sajak di dalam kelas, dan mereka bukan sekadar mendeklamasi saja, mereka mendeklamasikan sajak-sajak tulisan mereka sendiri itu lengkap dengan memakai kostum yang menarik ya. Dan sebagai lanjutan mereka telah mewakili NJC dalam peraduan bisikan pena anjuran Persatuan Bahasa Melayu NUS, di mana mereka telah mengharumkan nama NJC dengan menyandang gelaran juara dalam peraduan tersebut. Dan selain itu juga memandangkan ya tahun lalu sekatan-sekatan situasi COVID ni lebih ketat, jadi ada beberapa aktiviti-aktiviti pengayaan yang terpaksa kami jalankan melalui Zoom. Apapun, mereka juga telah menimba banyak ilmu dan pengalaman yang menarik. Sungguh pun bengkel-bengkel tersebut terpaksa dijalankan melalui wadah Zoom. Okey, dan ini merupakan beberapa program akan datang yang masih dalam peringkat perancangan. Kami menyasarkan untuk meminta kerjasama Puan Isadora Muhammad untuk menjalankan bengkel pengacaraan, dan beliau merupakan karyawan penyiar yang terkemuka di Singapura, dan beliau kini bertugas sebagai penyelia penyunting berita di Channel News Asia 938 Live. Selain itu, beliau juga merupakan pelatih di Singapore Media Academy. Selain bengkel pengacaraan, kami juga merancang untuk mengadakan bengkel penulisan kreatif bersama Encik Farihan Bahrun. Beliau merupakan seorang penulis tempatan yang telah menghasilkan beberapa buah buku ya di Singapura. Dan untuk menepati program tukikan kami iaitu Muzik Melayu, kami akan menjalankan bengkel apresiasi muzik Melayu bersama penggiat seni, kumpulan penggiat seni tempatan iaitu Sri Mahligai. Ini semua masih dalam perancangan. Jadi inilah wajah-wajah para cendekia MLEP NJC dan mereka merupakan kohort pertama dan kohort kedua. Yang kohort kedua tu sekarang dalam senior high, peringkat senior high 2 di NJC, dan kami menantikan kedatangan anda semua yang berminat untuk menyertai keluarga cendekia MLEP di NJC sebagai kohort yang ketiga. Jadi jika anda ingin tahu lebih lanjut tentang NJC, tentang MLEP di NJC, anda boleh melungsuri laman rasmi NJC. Anda klik saja ke tab curriculum di bahagian atas, kemudian klik pilihan Malay Language Elective Program dan anda akan tiba ke halaman ini di mana anda dapat menyaksikan, ada satu tab di situ di mana anda boleh menyaksikan atau menonton video promosi MLEP yang lengkap, dan semua kriteria kelayakan juga ada dipaparkan dalam video tersebut. Dan ada juga tertera di situ alamat email saya sendiri, Cikgu Iriana, dan juga teman sejawat saya, Cikgu Artina. Anda boleh menghubungi kami untuk mengetahui lebih lanjut tentang program elektif Bahasa Melayu di NJC. Selain itu, anda juga boleh mengintai kami melalui Instagram rasmi kami, Instagram NJC MLEP. Anda boleh imbas kod QR yang tertera di skrin ini ataupun di aplikasi Instagram. Anda hanya typekan saja MLEP NJC dan anda boleh sampai ke Instagram kami dan anda boleh lihat aktiviti-aktiviti menarik ataupun aksi-aksi para cendekia kami ketika menjalankan aktiviti-aktiviti mereka. Okey. Jadi andakah cendekia NJC yang kami nanti-nantikan? Janganlah tunggu-tunggu lagi. Jomlah sertai kami. Jadi itu sahaja penyampaian saya buat hari ini. Saya akan tunggu seketika untuk melihat sama ada apa-apa soalan yang ingin diutarakan. Okey, saya periksa sebentar. Okey, kalau tidak ada, saya akan teruskan penyampaian hari ini. Okay, now it is my pleasure to invite the next speaker, Mr. Shah and Mr. Victor, to share about the Tamil Language Elective Program.
மிக்க நன்றி கலைவாணி அவர்களே. உங்கள் அனைவரையும் இந்த நேரடி காணொலி வகை சந்திப்பதில் மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகின்றோம். முக்கியமான சில அம்சங்களை உங்களோட நான் பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள போகிறேன். அதுக்காக இப்பொழுது சில படவில்லைகளை உங்களோடு நான் பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள போகிறேன். Benzi, I'm going to share my slides now. May I? முதலில் தேசிய தொடக்க கல்லூரியில் வழங்கப்படும் தமிழ் மொழி விருப்ப பாடத்திட்ட கூறுகளை பற்றி நாம் சற்று ஆழமாக பார்ப்போம். இது முக்கியமாக 3 முதன்மை நோக்கங்கள் அடிப்படையில் இது வழங்கப்படுகிறது. முதல் நோக்கம், மாணவர்களை தமிழ் மொழியில் ஆற்றல் மிக்கவர்களாக உருவாக்குவதோடு அம்மொழியில் ஆழ்ந்த புலமை பெறச் செய்வது. அடுத்து, தமிழ் இலக்கியத்திலும் பண்பாட்டிலும் மாணவர்களின் புரிந்துணர்வை மேம்படுத்துவது. மூன்றாவதாக, மாணவர்களை இருமொழி ஆற்றல் மிக்கவர்களாக உருவாக்குவது. இந்த தமிழ் மொழி விருப்ப பாடத்திட்ட கூறுகள் பின்வரும் நடவடிக்கைகளை உள்ளடக்கியுள்ளன. அவையாவன: இலக்கிய திறனாய்வு, மொழி பெயர்ப்பியல், கவிதையும் கற்பனையும், திரைப்பட பாடல் திறனாய்வு, இலக்கிய திறனாய்வு, குறும்படம் தயாரித்தல். இந்த கற்பித்தல் முறை இணைய வழியாகவோ அல்லது நேரடி பாட வகுப்புகளாகவோ நடைபெறக்கூடும். சிறப்பு அம்சங்களாக கல்வி அமைச்சு ஏற்பாடு செய்கின்ற முகாம்கள் மற்றும் வெளிநாட்டு கல்வி பயணங்கள். அனைத்து நிகழ்ச்சிகளுமே முத்தமிழ் போற்றும் முத்திரை அங்கங்கள் நிறைந்த வளமூட்டும் நடவடிக்கைகளும் கற்றலில் ஆர்வத்தை தூண்டவல்ல கூறுகளும் நிறைந்துள்ளன. இதற்கு சான்று சென்ற ஆண்டு நாம் தேசிய நிலையில் பெற்ற அங்கீகாரமே ஆகும். நமது பள்ளியில் இந்த இருமொழியாற்றல் கூறு சம்பந்தமாக நம்ம நடத்திய மொழிபெயர்ப்பியல் பாடத்திட்ட கூறு தேசிய நிலையில் அங்கீகாரம் பெற்று அது ஏறத்தாழ 190 ஆசிரியர்கள் கலந்து கொண்டு இதை நீங்க எப்படி செய்தீர்கள், இதனால் எப்படி பயனடைந்தீர்கள் என்பதை எங்களை தேசிய நிலையில பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள செய்தாங்க. அந்த பகிர்வு நமது தேசிய தொலைக்காட்சியான வசந்தம் செய்தி கூட நேரடியாக ஒளிபரப்பி நமக்கு இன்னும் சிறப்பு சேர்த்தது. மாணவர்கள் தொடர்ந்து, அதாவது இந்த பொல்லாத இந்த கோவிட் காலத்திலும் கூட அவங்க என்றுமே மனம் தளர்ந்தது கிடையாது. பல நிகழ்ச்சிகளில் ஆர்வத்தோடு அவங்க பகிர்ந்துக்கிட்டாங்க. பல நிகழ்ச்சிகள் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் நம்ம நேரடியாக நடத்த முடியாத ஒரு கட்டாய சூழ்நிலை இருக்கும். இருந்தாலும் ஜூம் வழியாக நடப்பது மாணவர்கள் மிக ஆர்வத்தோடு கலந்து கொண்டு தங்களுடைய ஈடுபாட்டை காட்டுகின்றனர். எங்கெல்லாம் முடியுமோ நிச்சயமாக நம்ம அந்த சமூக இடைவெளியை கருத்தில் கொண்டு பல நிகழ்ச்சிகளை நம்ம அப்பப்போ நடத்துவோம். இந்த மாரி பாத்திரம் ஏற்று நடத்தல் அல்லது நிகழ்ச்சிகளை தொகுப்பாளர், இப்படி பல அம்சங்களும் கொடுக்குறப்ப அதுலேயும் நமது மாணவர்கள் ரொம்ப சிறப்பாக செய்வாங்க. எழுத்து வழியில் கூட நமது மாணவர் படைத்த சில கவிதைகள் தேசிய நிலை என்று சொல்வதை விட இன்னும் பார்க்க போனாக்கா இன்டர்நேஷ்னலி இல்லைங்களா, எனக்கா ஒரு சில நிகழ்ச்சிகள் பன்னாட்டு நோக்கில் நடைபெற்றது. அதுல கூட நமது மாணவரின் கவிதைகள் அரங்கேற்றி சுட்டி காட்டப்பட்டன. மிக சிறப்பாக உள்ள கவிதைகள். இந்த கவிதை எழுதியவர் நமது உபகார சம்பளம் பெற்ற யாழினி. நெறியாளர் திறன் வளர்க்கும் பட்டறை வகுப்புகளை நாங்கள் நடத்திக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். முன்பு சொன்னது அந்த பன்னாட்டு முனைவர்கள் மற்றும் இலக்கியவாதிகள் அறிஞர்களோடு கலந்து உரையாடுவதற்கு பொன்னான வாய்ப்புகள் இங்க நிறைய உண்டு. கொஞ்சமா நிலம் மாறிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. இந்த ஜூம் கூட போய் இப்ப அநேகமாக வெகு விரைவிலேயே நேரடி நிகழ்ச்சிகள் நடத்த வாய்ப்புகள் வரலாம். அது இன்னும் மக்களுக்கு பார்ப்பதற்கு மிகவும் சுவாரஸ்யமாகவும் அவங்களுடைய நேரடியில் ஈடுபடுவதெல்லாம் இன்னும் அவங்களுக்கு ஆர்வமுடன் தான் இருக்கும் நாங்கள் நம்புறோம். வெளிநாட்டு அறிஞர்கள் நடத்துகின்ற கவிதை இயற்றும் பயிற்சி வகுப்புகள். ஒரு படத்தை கொடுத்து அந்த படத்துக்கு ஏற்றவாறு ஒரு கவிதையை வடிக்க சொல்லுவோம். அதை ரொம்ப சிறப்பாகவே நமது மாணவர்கள் செய்தாங்க. இதெல்லாம் அவங்க எங்க கற்றுக்கொண்டாங்கன்னு சொல்றதை விட அவங்க எங்க பட்டை தீட்டப்பட்டாங்கன்னு சொன்னாக்கா இந்த பட்டறை வகுப்புகள்ல தான். அந்த தமிழ் மொழி இலக்கிய விருப்ப பாடத்திட்ட கூறுகள் நாங்கள் நடத்துகின்ற அந்த விருப்ப பாட கூறுகளின் வகுப்பறைகள், பாடங்கள் இதன் வழியாக இன்னும் அவங்க தங்களை தாமே செம்மைப்படுத்திக் கொண்டார்கள். அவ்வப்போது கல்வி அமைச்சு சரி, எங்களோட சேர்ந்து மற்ற தொடக்க கல்லூரியும் சரி, பல அறிஞர்களோடு இணைய வழி கலந்துரையாடலுக்கு நாங்கள் ஏற்பாடு செய்வோம். அதுலேயும் நமது மாணவர்கள் பங்கெடுத்துக்கொண்டு நிறைய பயன்பெறுகின்றனர். இன்னொரு தொடக்க கல்லூரிலையும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி நடைபெறுது. இந்த தமிழ் மொழி விருப்ப பாடத்திட்ட கூறு இருக்கு. நாங்கள் அவ்வப்போது அந்த தொடக்க கல்லூரியோடு சேர்ந்து நாங்கள் இருவருமே பல நிகழ்ச்சிகளை எங்க அனைத்து மாணவர்களுக்கும் படைத்து பங்கு பெற்று பலன் பெறுவோம். அந்த அடுத்த கல்லூரி ASRJC. இப்ப இந்த தமிழ் மொழி விருப்ப பாடத்திட்டம் என்பது எப்படி என்பதை மாணவர்கள் என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னு அவங்க சொல்லவே நீங்க கேட்டுங்க.
மாணவர்களுக்கு இருமொழி திறனை வழங்கும் தொழில்நுட்பத்தை பயன்படுத்தி மாணவர்களுக்கு தமிழ் மொழியின் கட்சியும் ஆற்றலையும் வழங்க வழங்கப்படும் ஒரு விருப்ப பாடமாகும். தமிழ் தொழில்நுட்பங்களை ஆராயவும் அறியவும் உதவும் ஒன்று. தமிழ் மீது எனக்கு உண்டான பற்றை வளர்க்கும் ஒன்று. தமிழ் மொழியின் இனிமையை ரசித்து ருசித்து சுவைக்க உதவும் ஒன்று. தமிழ் மக்களின் வாழ்வியலை ஆராய உதவும் ஒன்று. தமிழின் சிறப்புகளை அறிய உதவும் ஒன்று. ஆக்கப்பூர்வமான வகையில் நமது தமிழ் மொழி பற்றை அதிகரிக்க தமிழ் மொழியை இன்னும் ஆழமாக புரிந்து கொள்ள உதவும் ஒன்று. தமிழ் இலக்கியத்தையும் கலாச்சாரத்தையும் வளர்க்கும் ஒன்று. தமிழ் மரபை கற்றுக்கொள்ளும் வாய்ப்பளிக்கும் ஒன்று.
நிறைய அவங்க தங்களை வகுப்பறைக்குள் மட்டுமே தங்களை நிறுத்தி கொள்ளாம பல விழாக்கள் போட்டிகளில் பங்கெடுத்து சிறந்த பரிசுகளையும் அவங்க நமது மாணவர்கள் பெற்றிருக்கின்றார்கள். இப்பொழுது கேள்வி பதில் நேரம். உங்களுக்கு யாருக்குன்னு கேள்வி இருந்தால் அந்த கமெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அங்க நீங்க உங்களோட தட்டச்சு செய்து அனுப்பலாம். அது எங்க பார்வைக்கு வரவழைக்கப்படும். ஆஹ் 10 பேர் குறைந்தபட்சம். யூஸ்வலி how many TLP students are there per cohort? இப்பொழுதுக்கு முதல் ஆண்டுங்களுக்கு 10 பேர் வந்தாங்க. அடுத்த ஆண்டுங்களுக்கு 11 பேர் வந்திருந்தாங்க. நாம இப்ப அடி எடுத்து வைக்கிறது 3ஆம் ஆண்டு. How often is this program? இல்ல இது உங்களுக்கு 2 ஆண்டுமே நடைபெறும். உங்களுக்கு முன்பு சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, உங்களுக்கு JC 1லயும் நீங்க இதுல நிகழ்ச்சிகளை இந்த பாடத்திட்ட கூறுகளை பங்கெடுக்கணும், JC 2லயும் நீங்க பங்கெடுக்கணும். ஸோ இது 2 ஆண்டுமே தொடர்ந்து உங்களோட வரக்கூடிய ஒரு பயணம் தான் இது. சரி, விக்டோரியா நீங்க எதுவும் சொல்ல விரும்புறீங்களா?
இல்ல, வேற வினாக்கள் ஏதாவது கேட்டிருந்தா நம்ம பதில் சொல்லலாம். எதுவும் இல்லை இல்லாத பட்சத்துல ஒன்றும் சொல்றதுக்கு ஒன்றும்.
நமது கல்வி அமைச்சின் அதிகாரி கலைவாணி இருக்காங்க. நன்றி கலைவாணி. நீங்க எதுவும் சொல்ல விரும்புறீங்களா கலைவாணி?
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். நம்மளோட மாணவர்கள் ரொம்ப ஆர்வமா அவங்க வினாக்களை எழுப்பிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அதை பார்க்கும்போது ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சியா இருக்குது. இப்ப இன்னொரு வினா வந்திருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் ஆசிரியர். அதாவது பள்ளிக்கூடத்துக்கு பிறகு
இல்ல, நமது பள்ளிக்கூடத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நமது இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிகள் பாட வேலையிலே நம்ம புகுத்தி இருக்கோம். அதனால நீங்க இது அப்பாற்பட்டது கிடையாது.
ஒரு கருத்து சொல்லிடுறேன். நமது பள்ளியில் நடக்கக்கூடிய ஏற்பாடு செய்யக்கூடிய நம்முடைய நிகழ்ச்சிகள் பள்ளி நேரத்தில் நடைபெறும். ஆனால் அதை தாண்டி கல்வி அமைச்சு மற்றும் வெளியில் நடைபெறுகின்ற நிகழ்ச்சிகள் பள்ளி நேரத்திற்கு அப்பால் பெரும்பாலும் சனிக்கிழமைகளில் நடைபெறும். நன்றி.
ஐயா சொன்ன இன்னும் ஒரு 2 கருத்துக்கள் என்ன, சனிக்கிழமை இப்போதைக்கு இந்த 2 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு கோவிட் இருந்தனால நம்ம ஃபேஸ் டு ஃபேஸ் நிகழ்ச்சி நம்ம ஒன்றும் இப்போதைக்கு பண்ணல. எல்லாமே இணையம் வழியா தான் நம்ம செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அதனால அது ஒரு அரை நாள் நிகழ்ச்சி மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும் சனிக்கிழமை இருந்தா கூட. இனிமே வரக்கூடிய காலங்களை எப்படி சூழல் இருக்கிறத பார்த்துட்டு அப்புறம் நம்ம நிகழ்ச்சிகளை அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி நம்ம வடிவமைப்பு செய்து கொள்ளலாம். மாணவர்கள் இன்னும் ஆர்வமா நிறைய வினாக்களை எழுப்பலாம். இந்த அங்கம் முடிந்த பிறகு கூட ஆசிரியர்கள்ட்ட கேட்கலாம். ஏன்னா உங்களோட ஆசிரியர்கள், நம்மளோட தேசிய தொடக்க கல்லூரி ஆசிரியர்கள் திறம் வாய்ந்த ஆசிரியர்கள், நிறைய மாணவர்களுக்கு ஊக்கம் கொடுத்திருக்கிறார்கள், வளம் ஊட்டியிருக்கிறார்கள். இங்கேருந்து வெளியான மாணவர்கள்லாம் இப்ப வேற வேற கட்டத்துல நல்ல ஒரு நிலையில இருக்கிறார்கள். அதனால தாராளமாக, தைரியமாக, மகிழ்ச்சியாக நம்மளோட தமிழ் மொழி விருப்ப பாடத்தில் அவங்க சேர்ந்து கொள்ளலாம்.
உங்களுக்கு கூடுதல் விவரம் தேவைப்பட்டாக்கா எங்களுடைய NJCல போய் நிச் ப்ரோக்ராம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதன் அடிப்படையில் போய் நீங்க TLP நிகழ்ச்சி பார்த்து இன்னும் நீங்க தெரிந்து கொள்ளலாம். அப்படி சொன்னாக்கா பென்சி, ஐ திங்க் the time is over for us. Thank you. நன்றி ஆசிரியர். நன்றி கலைவாணி.
நன்றி.